This new and last issue of Torture Journal for 2023 goes around resilience in torture survival. This is a neglected field of knowledge. We are used to work more on the negative side of the consequences of torture. We know a lot about pathology and a lot about rehabilitation, but not so much about resilience. So the editorial goes on that and trying to catch up with what we know, the mostly narrative accounts of experiences of resilience, and also to have two contributions that go in the same line. On the one hand, a paper describing how the Ukrainian universities adapted in a time of war and how they change from physical space to an online university so as to not lose the pedagogical and scientific work of the university. And on the other side, I have an interesting paper, very interesting paper, on resilience mechanism in survivors of torture in Russia. We don't know much about torture in Russia. It's difficult to get contributions from there, but in this case, it's also a interesting different contribution in the sense that the authors detail how in front of the oppression, in front of control, there are some folk strategies that people develop to face that. So it's a very interesting original contribution that provides a really thoughtful ideas that can be used in other contexts to begin this kind of, reflections. Also from the Ukrainian conflict, you have a very interesting perspective contribution in which the author develops the concept of substitutive trauma. And she develops the theory that all the unprocessed collective grieving in Russia the last 30 years and the way this is used by political leaders to foster nationalist feelings has been the ground for the invasion of Ukraine, and which is the role that this is playing in trying to understand the support of part of the Russian population to the Ukrainian war. Besides of that, we have a regular paper on quite a complex issue, boys killing in refugee survivors of trauma, and the debate on how to distinguish between what we call a structural hallucinations, people who have a severe mental disorder, and hallucinations that come from traumatic experiences, and if they are distinct entities and how to deal with them. Finally, I would love to stress a wonderful contribution on prison overcrowding and ill treatment. It's really a fresh view on the topic. It goes not only on minimum standards for living space, the consideration of not only the size, but also the conditions of detaining spaces, but also the use of tools to establish the existence of harm caused by the overcrowding, and introduces some corrective restorative measures, basically in terms of exchanging the time that the person has been submitted to ill treatment because of overcrowding by a reduction of the time in prison of the condom. And the author developed some jurisprudence on that in the last 4 or 5 years.